Compelling value proposition. This is module 2 of 6 in the Barking Up a Dead Horse webinar and coaching series. We're going to cover how you think and talk about your value. We're going to cover and talk about speaking to the old brain to get people's attention, and also give you some thoughts on framing your value in their world. Their being your prospects and your clients. At the beginning, we spoke of cleaning, compelling, and controlling. This is one of 2 modules on compelling, finding a way to compel more people more quickly into conversations and to close more of the right kinds of business. We're looking to lead people, having them follow us, be compelling, having them drawn to us and our value proposition. Couple of preview points. At some level, I believe most of us don't fully understand our unique value. There's a lot of reasons for that. One of them I find is that sometimes the things that we do best, that come most naturally to us, we actually have a hard time explaining. Or one of the things that also happens is we don't realize how unique and how valuable it is because it's just kind of what we do. So one of the things that I find is it's hard to be clear, understand, and specific about how we talk about our value. We also get way caught up in buzzwords and corporate jargon, and at some level, we forget sometimes to just ask our best clients, why did you buy from us? Why do you stay with us? Being really clear about our value in the world of our prospects and clients. So watch for the buzzwords. One of the things that I'd like you to be more aware of as you look at your marketing materials, your sales outreach, your value proposition language. These are some of the phrases that I find we get stuck in: out of the box, quality, comprehensive solution, customer focused, value added, market leader, world class, best in class, rapid implementation. Everybody says stuff like this, blah, 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 right? So everyone says this. There is something truly unique about what it is that you do. Doesn't mean you can't use some of these words, but these words basically are meaningless. So let's find some more unique ways to initially talk about what it is that we do. Here's 3 examples that I found or that were sent to me by clients over the last year that I thought were great examples of exactly the ways not to talk about your value. Our success is predicated on our ability to integrate our functional expertise in client services with our profound methodologies, blah, 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 blah. At FlexAP, we transform accounts payable, proven technology, best practices, transparency, efficiency, ROI. I mean, at some level, that's got to make your head spin, right? Again, on the bottom, best in class, packaged lines, A-rated, multi-industry, customer service. I mean, some of this is smart and fine. I'm interested in actually, at the risk of being overly simplistic, dumbing ourselves down a little bit to initially compel people, to give them something that they can sink their teeth into to want to have a conversation. And these examples are not it. There's a gentleman named Patrick Renvois who wrote a book called Neuromarketing, and he talks a lot about ways in which you can speak to what he calls the old brain. The old brain is 450 million years old at the top of your brain stem, and before your decisions and your thoughts and what you pay attention to gets to the rational part of your brain, it first has to run through your old brain. The more we think about how we can talk and compel the old brain, the more effective we're going to be at our initial outreach. Here's 3 examples for you to consider. The first thing is that the old brain really needs contrast. So if you see your company, your business, and your value as a red apple in a sea of red apples, and that maybe your red apple is a little bit different, a little bit unique, but when the old brain scans, all it sees is red apples. So quickly we have to find a way to contrast from all the other things that the old brain is looking at and distracted by these days, and find a way to show up as a green apple in a sea of red apples. The second thing that the old brain really needs to get its attention is something tangible, simple, tangible, down-to-earth language. I'm going to give you some examples of that. The ones that we just looked at were exactly how not to write and not to talk. The old brain has no idea what that kind of conceptual language even means. And the final one that I'll point out now is that the old brain needs visual things. It needs you to paint pictures. It needs to see things in its mind and feel emotions. So finding ways to create some contrast, use tangible, simple language, and paint a picture about what we do in a really simple initial way. This again comes from Patrick Renvois, who wrote a book called Neuromarketing. Framing your value in their world. I'm going to give you 4 quick ways to consider how you might think about, talk about, write about your value in the world of your prospects. The first piece is logistics. So this is a little more technical and kind of dry. However, the ideal prospect for you is a certain kind of company, is in a certain kind of place, in a certain kind of vertical. There are specific logistical things that are the profile of an ideal client for you. The second thing is pain. So for someone to be an ideal client for you, they usually are struggling with something. They're worried about something. They're not happy with something. There's something going on that they want to be different. The third part is opportunity. There's some sort of unique opportunity going on that they want to capitalize on, they want to achieve. And there's something about the timing of right now. There's a unique window, and they're really motivated to capitalize on something at this point. The final one that we don't talk about enough that I think is the most important of all 4 of these is in order for someone to be an ideal client or a good fit for us, they need to be open to. So you could make a list of about 100 things that an ideal prospect or client needs to be open to. There's a couple of things, right? So in certain situations, they need to be open to some risk. They need to be open to sharing some detailed and proprietary information about what's going on for them. They need to be transparent and honest about what's working and what's not. They need to be genuinely open to new ideas and some change. So think about the context of your value in the world of your prospects and clients, specifically around logistics, pain, opportunity, and open to. I'm going to give you a few simple examples to get you started. None of this is comprehensive. I want you to figure out ways in which you can use this to create your own snapshot of your value and to create more effective outreach emails, marketing, etc. You can also obviously print these up when you go back to the homepage. So a couple of ideas to get you started. These are not perfect. I'm actually not going to read this whole thing. This is an example of an initial value proposition paragraph, or could be bullet points, that uses some of the pain, right? So their pain that they're struggling with trying to be seen as cool with a particular target. They want to remain relevant. They're working in these particular industries. And there are certain leaders that are under some pressure, and they're open to some different perspectives. Really simple picture that initially would compel someone to say, you know what, that is exactly me. We need to have a conversation. You can get into the details later. Initially, when we're reaching out, we need to give them just enough, but not too much. The bottom example does the exact same thing. If you'll notice on the last line, we also always talk about open to. They need to be open to some risk for some payoff of higher long-term reward. We're so often talking about how amazing and how awesome our products and services are that there's no downside and we're not going to ask anything of our prospects and clients, which typically is completely untrue. It's okay to say, hey, listen, there's some risk here. People get it. They understand they're going to have to spend some money. They understand they're going to have to consider change. They get it. They're smart. Let's be really honest and direct about what it is that we do and who we do it for. I have this quote that I call, you attract what you define and you get more of what you tolerate. So when you look at your current clients and prospects and pipeline, what are you tolerating? There's A prospects and B prospects and C prospects. I'm interested in finding a way to be clearer and more specific about looking for and talking about and being clear about what does an ideal prospect look like for us. So a couple of quick tips to being more compelling. Talk like a human being. I've given you some examples. Just be human. Keep it simple and very specific. and focus on the phrase open to. What does somebody need to be open to in order to be a good prospect for us? So we covered how you think and talk about your value. We covered ways in which you can speak to the old brain. We also gave you some ideas around framing your value in their world. So cut and paste these examples, work on this. So take 3 situations or have a conversation or take 3 particular ways in which you might talk about your value. Write some of this down, have a conversation about it. Send me any questions or results at my email address. And also go back to the main page, click your back button on your browser for the next module, and also to see some of these key slides and ways in which you can print them out.